Good evening. The spiritually elite, awakened Hebrew Israelites, God's chosen people. We can no longer put up with the misinterpretation of the Bible and the black Muslim rhetoric, black Christians rhetoric, all of which has gotten us nowhere, and their misinterpretations of the scriptures. It's time to step up our game. Fox News has been exposed, and they're battling one civil case after another. They are losing ground. But CNN, which pretended to be a left-wing liberal news channel, has decided to take Fox News' place. They had a interview with Donald Trump, in which they brought in 400 of the mega followers, cult followers of his. And they were told when to cheer and when not to say anything. This was CNN's strategy to take over for Fox News. It failed miserably. Their ratings has plummeted, and I will tell you why later. But let me preface this by saying Jesus gave spiritual powers to his disciples, and those powers will be given to you as well. And some of you have those powers right now. Let me explain. Let me explain something to you. CNN got rid of the gay liberal, Don Lemon, and now they have moved totally to the right, and it has cost them ratings. The reality of the situation is racism has always been promoted by the mass media. They have always played good guy, bad guy. But we all know that it's always been a deception. And even myself, I've fallen for the deception. But underneath it all, the United States is a systemically racist society that has spread racism, anti-blackness all over the planet. I want to throw another preface in here. Your brain controls your bodily functions. It takes in information and tells your body how to react. Your mind is different. Where is your mind located? Your mind is located in your black skin. Your skin is the largest organ of your body, and it is where your mind is located. It takes in energy from the sun. It takes in prana from the atmosphere. But I'm going to let that go because I want to continue on this other subject. But hold in mind what I've told you. Now, let me explain something to you. If you have been following my videos, then you know that Caucasians are 9% Neanderthals and black people are 100% Homo sapiens. And Neanderthals are considered subhumans by Caucasians. I have left the video on this subject in numerous videos of mine. I have also left a video that indicates that the DNA of Hebrew Israelites is 9. That's the DNA series. That is the ability to rationalize and reason. The DNA series of Neanderthals or Caucasians is 6. The DNA series of a chimpanzee is 5. That was a study done by numerous anthropologists. The study was copyrighted so that no one could see it. But as always, copies came out and were found. This study was done long ago. But now that this study has gotten out into the public, there are people saying that this study is fake. It never existed. But the study did exist. And the anthropologists and scientists who worked on this were from numerous countries. And their names are on this document. It is not fake. It is real. Now, if you want to believe the people who told you Columbus discovered America, then that is your choice. I won't debate it with you. It is time now to cut to the chase. This will be the first warfare was a physical warfare. That was the Civil War. The next warfare was the civil rights. That was nonviolent. This warfare will be a spiritual warfare, which has already started. To explain how it has started, the people of the synagogue of Satan who made the movie Birth of a Nation and passed it all over the world are the Israelis. And if you have been looking at my prior videos, then you know that Revelations 2:9 and Revelations 3:9 describes them as worshiping in the synagogue of Satan. Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. They are from the Ukraine. Yes, the spiritual battle has begun. They are from the Ukraine, and they are taking a beating in the Ukraine, regardless as to what America's media tells you. Remember one thing, that battle is going on not in Russia, it is going on in the Ukraine. How can you win when your buildings and your people are being destroyed? Don't get caught up in the hype. You see, the spiritual war has started, and they are losing. Now, we must know who our enemy is. Well, the synagogue of Satan is trying to steal our ethnicity. And a woman from the synagogue of Satan has said that young black men are the enemies of Israel. A lot of these young black men do not even know Israel exists. Well, they are not Israel's enemies. Israel's enemies are the spiritual elite Hebrew Israelites, those of us who are awakened and we know what's going on. Now, let me say this. Israelis have tried to steal our ethnicity and heritage because to be a Jew is to be a Jew by blood. But they created Judaism and turned a cult called Judaism so they could convert in order to be us. Then the white supremacists in the United States, they call us stupid, and they steal and take credit for all of our technological advances and creations. We made the cell phone. We made computers. Lawrence Latimer invented the light bulb, and he invented the telephone. Now they have this Mexican, John, I can't pronounce his last name. He's saying that Mexicans built America. Well, we all know that African Americans built Washington, D.C. Benjamin Banneker was the architect. But John, this Mexican, wants to steal our legacy of building this country. Unfortunately, Mexicans didn't come to this country until World War One, when Caucasians went to war and they needed them to come here and pick fruit. Some of them stayed. And then they came back in World War II. But let me explain something. You do not build a country by picking fruit. Let me repeat that. You do not build a country by picking fruit. You have to build the buildings. You have to establish the financial base, which was growing cotton and growing tobacco. And the reason why African Americans were kidnapped and brought here is because we knew how to grow and farm. Caucasians did not know how to grow and farm. We taught them. Now I want to get to the meat of the subject. Since we know who the enemy are and we know the games that they are playing. Now, if you go to Wikipedia or Google, they will tell you that Jesus did not give spiritual powers to anyone. That is a lie. Jesus did give spiritual powers. And he told his disciples how to use those powers. Now, I hope you have a Bible. Go to Matthew 10, verse 1. Matthew 10, verse 1. I will read it for you. It says, "And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples," that being Yashua, Jesus, "he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease." So Jesus gave power to his 12 disciples. They were, of course, Hebrew Israelites. And those of you who are spiritually elite Hebrew Israelites, God will give you power as well. Some of you have power, but you are not using that power. And I'm going to explain why you should use it. Because when Jesus said, "Turn the other cheek," that was a different point in time. Now you do not have to turn the other cheek. Now let me read another verse for you. Now, when we go to Matthew's verse 5:39, Jesus said, "But I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also." Now, I bring this up because I want you to understand who Jesus was talking about. Now, go to Matthew 5, verse 1. Now, Matthew 5, verse 1 states, "And seeing the multitude, he went up into a mountain." When Jesus saw the multitude, he went up into the mountain. And when he was set, he was there. His disciples came unto him. So his disciples came unto him when he went up to the mountain. So this is an indication. If we look at Matthew 5, verse 1, and then we go to verse 5:39, we realize that Jesus was talking to his disciples who he gave spiritual powers to. And he was telling them, do not use your spiritual powers to do harm. He gave them those particular powers to exorcise demons and to heal people. Now, if you know anything about the Bible, I'm not going to look up a particular verse, but Jesus always talked to the multitude in what? He talked to the multitude in parables. He always talked to the multitude in parables. So, now let's go to Luke 10, verse 29. Luke 10, verse 29. Jesus always talked to the multitude in parables. Now, what did Jesus mean when he said, "Love thy neighbor"? I'm going to start reading verse 29 to 36 so you will understand who Jesus was talking about. When he said, "Love thy neighbor," he was not talking about people from the synagogue of Satan. He was not talking about people from the synagogue of Satan. So Luke 10, verse 29. But he willingly, to justify himself, said unto Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" And Jesus answering said, a parable. Here comes a parable. "A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest. Notice Jesus used a priest, which could be a pastor, could be a bishop. And he said, and by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. The priest went on the other side. And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side as well. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence, and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whosoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Which now of these three thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? And he said, Jesus said, He that showed mercy on him. Then said Jesus unto him, Go, and do thou likewise. You see, go back to 36. Which now of these three thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? The neighbor unto him was the Good Samaritan. You see, your neighbor is the person who treats you well. Jesus at no time said, treat the people of the synagogue of Satan or racists as your neighbor. But he did give power to who? His disciples. How many disciples did Jesus have? Jesus had 32. Let's talk about the other 70 disciples. Let's go to Luke 10, and we're going to start at verse 17. Luke 10, verse 17. And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. Even the devils are subject unto us through thy name, meaning he gave them power. But let's continue. 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from above. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Remember this. Remember this. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. So you see, Jesus gave all 82 of his disciples power, and they had powers over who? Scorpions and serpents, who we consider, might as well say just demons and people that are evil. Now, if you are a Hebrew Israelite, you must realize that you have power over these things, over evil. But you must follow the 10 Commandments. You must eat the diet of the 10 Commandments. And until you manifest your power, Jesus said to, anytime you feel threatened, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to say the Lord's Prayer. You are supposed to say the Lord's Prayer. For those of you who do not know, the Lord's Prayer is Matthew 6, verses 9 through 13. Know this verse by heart anytime you are in a situation where you feel threatened. This is the message that Jesus gave to his disciples. Now, I want you to understand something. You who are the spiritually elite, you who know that you are God's chosen people, Hebrew Israelites, when you spread the word of God given to you, let me put it another way. When you spread the word of Yahweh given to you by Yashua, you are a disciple. And when you try to help others, you are a disciple. But understand this. You have spiritual powers. And understand something else. You can manifest spiritual powers. And do not feel that you should turn the other cheek. Because that was during another time. This is spiritual warfare. And in spiritual warfare, you should, of course, use what? Spiritual powers. You can manifest things. Understand this. If you see where a Hebrew Israelite has been murdered by anyone, you can manifest karma, the repercussions for that event. If you have noticed, weekly murders of Hebrew Israelites have been followed by shootings in schools. If you've noticed that Israel trained police chiefs to do what? To shoot Hebrew Israelites. But look at what is happening in the Ukraine. Nothing happens by accident. See, Satan believes in and tries to create chaos. But see, God is order. Evil is chaos, confusion, delusions create chaos. But we live in a world of order and justice and karma. And you, the spiritual elite, Hebrew Israelites, I have given you instructions. I have also given you a elixir to drink. It is said that it is a natural antibiotic. But what it is an antibiotic for your soul. It is an antibiotic for your soul. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to let you digest the things that I've said. And with that, have a nice day. God bless you all, and stay cool, relax, because you can't lose. With God on your side, you can't lose. C'est la vie.